Hey everybody, Talk here, and today I'm outside again, because it's actually not terrible right now. Though you may get random wind noise, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. I just hope it's not horrible, because the wind has died down significantly today. So as you can probably just barely notice, I have a fire going here. I'm trying to get burned down to some coals, because I need it to burn down a little bit for part of the demonstration for this video. As you've probably noticed already, what is char cloth? Or, I mean, a little more vague, what is char? Well, I'll show you what it is in a modern sense. It's not done yet, but there's a little char tin. I just made it today. You'll actually get to see how I do that later. This is part of a t-shirt, and that's my dog being a pain. Sit, 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 good girl. Okay, so this is part of an old t-shirt. This is a polyester t-shirt. This isn't cotton or anything. So I'm not sure how well this is going to turn into char cloth. We're going to find out. So, what's char? Char is a substance that is typically used for tinder, or fire starting in general, and it's not fully burned. So you've heard of charcoal. Well, you get that when you burn wood and stop it from burning all the way, so you get a nice black chunk that starts up reasonably easily. Char cloth is the same thing. It's cloth that was basically on fire, not actually on fire, you kind of get it to smolder, and then you take it and put it out, and then you got it, and it ignites very easily and burns very rapidly. It's used in, basically, like I said, for starting fires. Makes it significantly easier. Now, you don't just have charcoal and char cloth, you also have just general char. Well, what's that? General char is a more general term for things like cattails, moss, pungwood, basically anything you would use normally that you could smolder and put in a little tin like this and basically burn. Probably couldn't do it with bark, though depending on the bark it might be able to. Basically, that's what you do. You carry it with you because it's nice and compact. Take a little bit out, start your fire with your flint and steel or your ferro rod or whatever you feel like using, and it just speeds up the entire process. Now, why a tin? It's just easier. Honestly, the way charcoal used to be made, you could make it in something like this nowadays. You could honestly put like some punk wood or some normal wood in a tin like this, toss it in there, and basically cook it. Well, in ancient times, pretty much as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure when they stopped doing this, but they'd make a charcoal mound and it would smolder for a long period of time and you'd eventually dig it out. That is a giant pain in the rear end, so anybody can do this. So, how about I show you how I made this? Okay, so this is how you make a char tin. Now, there's two broad ways to do this. First way, and the simplest way, is you just take your knife and you will poke a hole in an appropriate tin. Now, the tin I am using here, specifically, is a wallet tin. I got a new money clip, and this is the tin it came in. So you can use this, you can use an Altoid container, you can use a candy container. It's just got to be a nice metal tin with a nice little cap on it. There's some that I know that are screw tops, you can use those. Altoid tins have little hinges on them. Some people say that's enough to let the gases out. It probably is. I, however, am going to, instead of just taking a knife, jamming the tip in and then bopping it, I'm going to use a just nail and a hammer. Now, you could just do one hole. There we go. I'm going to do two. There we go. Now, there's several reasons to do this. There we go. The first is to make sure the gases can escape. This is to be positive that when you're charring your material, it doesn't blow the top off because the gas can't get out fast enough. I mean, this thing's not airtight. It's pretty tight, but it's not airtight, so the gases should be able to leak around the sides here. But if I were to char something like denim or something heavy, the gas probably wouldn't escape fast enough, and then the lid would just pop right off, and then everything I just did was a colossal waste of time. There's a second reason here, and that is you can see fire shoot out the top of the holes. When it stops doing that, well, now you know you're done, so it eliminates some guesswork. This is my first time doing it, so the easiest way, in my opinion, would have been to do this, so that's why I'm doing it. But you don't have to, strictly speaking. So yeah, I've got my pair of holes in this one. I've just got a I'll show you the full size of the cloth I'm going to be doing today. And again, I'm learning about as much as you are, because I don't know if this is going to work with this particular shirt. But this is about how big it is. It's just a cavity. It's a couple inch wide, about 5 or 6. Slice out of an old t-shirt from work. And I'm just folding it up and fitting it in the tin here without having any parts hanging out of it. Because you don't want any parts hanging out of it. Because if you have that, those are just going to burn off and it sucks. So check all around, make sure it's still in there. Any paper you got, because I got some price tags still on this thing, those are going to go. So how about I show you the fire and about what it looks like roughly now, and then I'll toss this in there for you. Alright, this is what the fire looks like currently. And that's good enough. It doesn't have to get down to a straight bed of coals, but you got to let it burn down a little bit. So all you do is take this, and that's literally it. You just toss that in there. So what you do from there is, as it'll go, you'll start seeing smoke and even fire shoot out of it. Now, I'll bring you back when that starts happening. And again, remember, I'm learning this as much as you are. This is the first time I've decided to do this, so this might just end catastrophically. But let's find out together. Okay, now if the ambient smoke assists, there it is. You can see it clearly now that smoke is coming out of the hole. That's good. You want it to do that. Now, when it's now eventually some fire should come out of this. And I'm actually gonna, my fire's being a little uncooperative right now, so I'm gonna kind of scoot that over to get on the warmest part of the fire I can get. There it goes. Now it's really starting to spew out. That's good. Now, as I said, you might see flames come out of this. I've seen a couple videos where that happens. I've also seen ones where that doesn't happen and it just kind of keeps doing this. When it stops is when you are going to take it off. So I'll bring you back either when fire shoots out of it or when it stops, and we'll go from there. Okay, flames aren't coming out right now, but it's a much better shot. So you can kind of see how much is coming out even now. It's way more than before. Like, it's really obvious. This is good. This is not bad. This is good. You want this to happen. You can also, maybe you can kind of see in there. Let's zoom in a little bit. That's out. There we go. We want to zoom in a little bit. You can kind of see the tin's getting a little discolored around the sides. Just a little bit. I don't know how quite well that's showing up in the picture. It looks like it should be showing up okay. That's going to happen. You're burning the crap out of a tin. It's going to get discolored. That's totally fine. Don't freak out about that. Though, you may want to watch, because depending on the tin you get, it might start melting. That's entirely possible that you could get a tin that can't stand up to the level of heat you are subjecting it to. So you don't want it to do that. You don't want it to melt. So just maybe every now and then kind of just poke it a little bit. Make sure it's still doing okay, and yep, still good. So just do that every now and then. On another note, you don't want too many holes in this. So I just went and consulted some more information on this. You don't want too many holes in there. 2 is probably fine. Heck, 1 probably would have been enough, but I went with 2 to be safe. If you have any more than that, you're going to get too much oxygen in there, and then it'll all just be gone, and that'll totally suck, and you don't want that, because that means all the time you just spent doing this is wasted. So, is it still got smoke coming out of it? Where? That's a little bit. Doesn't seem to be too much. You know what? I didn't see any flames come out of this. So we're going to check this. So we're going to see what happens now. Because again, I've never done this before. So we're all going to kind of go on this little journey together here. So I've just got my welding gloves here. I'm going to take it. I'm going to pick it up. Is there smoke coming out of this yet? Here's a real little bit. You know what? I'll let that sit for a little more. I'll wait for that to be none, just to be sure. I don't know if you can overcook char. I'm gonna do some more experimenting with this and find out myself. Like, I'll just leave it sit on there for like an hour or something, just silly, and see what happens. That'll be interesting. But I think let's do another quick check here. I don't see any more. Alright. There you go. That's all you do. Honestly, I didn't take all that long. The cuts are only a couple of minutes, frankly. I think this was about, I want to say, 5 minutes 10 minutes, wasn't too much. Now here, I'm going to zoom in on the tin here so you can kind of see the, if I can get a little better. There we go. A little more centered. Okay, now you're seeing all that bottom crap here? All this junk? Yeah, that's just all the fancy paint that's on the bottom of my tin. The tin itself is fine, as you can see. Tin itself is structurally sound, which is great. Now, do I want to let that sit for a little bit longer? You know what, that's probably fine. I probably don't need to let that sit for any longer than that. That's probably okay. Alright, let's flip her over. Okay, let's, alright, there we go. Voila! Ooh, that smells awful. Ooh! This is what the inside of the tin looks like. And, yeah, it smells terrible. I would not... Oh, that's bad. Here, I'm gonna actually just singe the, I'm gonna just cook the inside of those things. That smells awful. But, here, let's take a... Okay, it's not actually the char cloth that smells that bad. Here. Come on, camera. There you go. I believe in you. There you go. There's my dog. Alright, this is the char cloth. It feels... This part here feels normal. This feels just like cloth. Feels a little weird. Nothing too crazy. This part here feels really odd. But that was also kind of just floating up in the air, so... It got cooked a little more thoroughly. This is definitely pretty nice. So, here, I will... Oh, wow, that tears real easy. Okay, so I'll just set that down right there. And we'll, put this on a stick here. Right. Okay, we're gonna redneck it. Just put it on a stick. And I'm gonna stick it over the fire here. Once I reposition the camera. There we go. Yeah, I'm just searing out the inside of that tin because that smelled awful. It's all that paint on the inside. So we'll just watch what happens with that cloth. There, look at that. If I can get it to focus. Oh, you can focus better than that. There we go. So you can see that's kind of just cooking slowly there. Doesn't like explode, but it just kind of keeps burning. There we go, a little better shot there. Yeah, and you can see as the alright, there's a little bit of the t-shirt. Okay. Maybe you want to go with cotton. You might want to go with cotton over this. Yeah, that seems to, if I can get the camera to focus again. Don't be dumb, camera. There we go. Alright, yeah. I was just kind of blowing on it to test that out. It seems to burn fairly good. Let's just toss that in there. Here we go. Okay, so. You can, in fact, do that with a cheap, think like just a Hanes shirt, nothing fancy, the ones you get in multiple packs. You can, in fact, make char cloth out of that. Only bet cotton would be better, but do some testing with that when I start some more fires in the future, because that definitely seems nice. Now let's... There we go. There we go. Burn that sucker all out. There we go. Let's get that out of there. Alright, so... Hope you all found this at least a little bit interesting. I've certainly been poking around and trying to play around with char cloth for a while now. And since the weather was nice, I figured I'd actually do it. And you know what? I might as well show it to you guys. So I hope you guys give her a shot if you get a chance. It's not that big of a deal. If you have an Altoids container or some other metal candy container or something, you can just pop that in there with like an old shirt or a ripped up towel. And you guys can tell me what you guys were using and how that worked out for you. Because I'll probably do a old school fire lighting demonstration. Probably going to use a flint and steel if I can get my hands on one of those. If I can't, I'll just cheat and use a ferro rod. But hope you guys liked the video. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Peace out, everybody.